Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon.
Parashat Vayikra, or Sacrifices and More Sacrifices. God gives instructions to Moses on how the Jews are to worship. Animal and grain sacrifices demonstrate coming close to God. The Hebrew word for sacrifice, Korban, means coming close. Different sacrifices are brought by different people at different times. The priests are to burn them on the Mishkanlaltar. The Torah has so much to teach us, even in a single letter. Parashat Vayikra begins the entire book of Leviticus, which is all about laws primarily of animal sacrifices. And it opens with a verse that's pretty innocuous, but when we look at the Hebrew, we see something remarkable. Here's the verse. Vayikra el Moshe. God called to Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting. And what's instructive here is, when you look carefully at that first word, Vayikra, you see the last letter, Aleph, is written smaller than every other letter around it. Not just in the word, but almost in the whole Torah. It stands out because it's smaller. It's almost too small. This is not, although it's unusual, it's not unheard of. Somewhere in the Bible, every single letter is written smaller and larger in one place or another. And a famous example is the first letter in the Torah, Bereshit, in the beginning. That bet is written larger than the others. So this letter, it's set apart, but there's no explanation why. That's up to us. Different rabbis, different teachers of different generations have offered explanations. And today I want to share two. The first is offered by an 18th century Russian rabbi, Pinchas of Koritz, who points out that the letter Aleph is also the first letter in the word Adam, which is humanity. And so the lesson here that Moses, as a scribe, is giving us is one in ego, that we should each try to minimize our ego instead of getting a big head and filling it with pride. That's why the Aleph is written smaller. And this reminds me of a second teaching about Moses specifically as a man of modesty, humility, anava. And there's a story where a prosecuting angel challenges God and asks God, demands, God, where is the Torah? And God says, you know what, go ask Moses, he has it. The prosecuting angel goes to Moses and says, Moses, where's the Torah? And Moses says, surprisingly, who am I that God would have given me the Torah? At this point, God can't help but interject. Moses, are you a liar? Of course I gave you the Torah. Who has it but you? And then Moses clarified, no. Almighty God, you have this perfect Torah that you delight in every day. Why should I take credit for it? So at that moment, God understood what Moses was saying. Of course, Moses had the Torah. But Moses wasn't claiming to be the owner of the Torah, merely its custodian. Because it didn't belong to him, it was just entrusted to him on behalf of the world. And God concludes the story. Since you, Moses, have made yourself smaller by diminishing your role, the Torah shall be named after you, Torat Moshe, the 5 books of Moses. So this here is a wonderful model of Moses and humility. And in the Torah, Moses never thinks he's worthless. He never thinks he's weak or meek. He's pretty bold. He's pretty chutzpahdik at times. He just thinks he's less important than his people, Israel. Moses makes himself smaller, and that is what makes him greater. And when we make room for others, we do the same.